All right, so Vanessa, go ahead, please.
Awesome. Well, welcome everybody. I'm so excited to have you all here today. My name is Vanessa. I am going to be the moderator of this session today. Welcome to Jumpstart Your Career in Tech. So excited.
Sorry, once. Can you hear me?
I think it's echoing.
Yeah, okay, you can hear me well now, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think the best strategy is to let's 1 second. Let's mute everyone. I think that would be the best to avoid some noise at the background. Just give me a sec, please.
Okay.
Okay, so everyone is muted now.
Okay, well, welcome everybody. Welcome to Jumpstart Your Career in Tech. My name is Vanessa once again. I'm so excited to have you all here today. We have 3 wonderful guests today, 3 very insightful individuals, recruiters who are here to help you get your next job in tech, So I'm so excited to have you all here today. So I'll just mention a few rules. We ask that you all stay muted while the speakers are speaking. We will have a Q&A session at the end once all speakers have spoken. So please save all your wonderful questions till the end. Just keep your cameras on if you can, but just keep your mics muted. That's all we ask. And I will hand it over to Mr. Ugo UN to introduce our 3 wonderful speakers today. UN, are you there?
Yeah, so feel free to go ahead, Vanessa. Go ahead with the intro. Maybe UN is here to join.
Okay, awesome. Well, like I said, we have 3 wonderful guests today, 3 very insightful people, recruitment specialists, people who are here that want to help you get your next job. The first person is the wonderful Mr. Kayla Produ. He works at RBC. And next we have the beautiful Miss Tayo. And lastly, we have Mr. Conrad Pitan. And all these individuals are going to introduce themselves, are going to talk a bit about who they work for, about themselves, and jobs that they are going to be or possibly going to be hiring for. And, they're going to tell you how to apply, how to be a successful candidate, and how to hopefully secure the job. So without further ado, I'm going to open the room for the first speaker, and that will be, I believe, Caleb. If you could start us off today, feel free to share your screen and take it from here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, and thank you for having me, and thank you, everyone. It's truly a pleasure and an honor being here in the presence of such amazing people, my brothers and sisters from the United States of Africa. What's it called? So my name is Kayla Produ. I work with the Royal Bank, where I'm responsible for inclusive recruitment for Black and persons of color enterprise-wide. So I cover that for Canada, the US, Europe, and Asia. It's my job in the bank to ensure the bank hires Black and persons of color. Knowing fully when I moved to Canada as an immigrant myself, and I experienced firsthand, what it means to be Black and the barriers that people experience in terms of employment opportunities. So when this opportunity became available, I fought tooth and nail, to ensure I get the opportunity. So I'm able to support people who look like me, to not just support them in getting into the organization, but also promoting them within the organization, strategically positioning them in places where they could get into senior leadership and also influence mentoring other Black people and also pulling other Black people up. I don't know if it should be a panel discussion, because you know, honestly, I didn't prepare a slide. I have just one slide, and I know many of us here are tech people looking for opportunities. So what I did was, let me just share my screen so we could look at that. One moment, bear with me. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
What do you see?
A Word document that has
the QR code.
the QR code.
Yes.
And your
Brilliant. So currently, as at today, as at my last count just before this event, we have 399 opportunities in tech. So if you look at technology opportunities, we have 399. So I don't want to go into detail sharing with you what these different opportunities are about. So I want everyone here, if you are interested in tech opportunities in RBC, to scan this QR code and then comb through the 399 opportunities. If you find anything you know you can do to at least 80%, I've created my contact information there. So you could just take a picture of that and then send me an email. Okay, Caleb, this is the opportunity I know I am a good fit for. And I am committing. We have almost 100 people on this call. I'm committing to connecting you to the actual hiring manager. I'm committing to making a case for you as to why you are the best candidate to the actual hiring manager. And hopefully you would get an interview and then hopefully land gainful employment within the bank. If you're not a tech person and you're interested in other opportunities, wealth management, capital markets, and the like, I have another QR code there that I could also scan. You know, so when we are done scanning, just let me know so I could go back to my conversation. I think this is very, very important because I know most of us here are from Nigeria, and I know what I took my eyes to see if I got into the position I am in today. So the truth is, it's all about networking, and I'm in a position where I'm able to put my foot down. I'm able to challenge the business. I'm able to challenge people in leadership and hiring managers to hire Black persons. So I'm able and willing to assist in this regard. So kindly, as I mentioned earlier, scan these QR codes. Once you find an opportunity that you know you can do by at least 80%, I've given you my email address. We could also connect on LinkedIn, you know, and then we could take it forward from there. I want to believe all of us have scanned this right now. Okay. So that's what the primary thing I want to share with you today. In addition to that, I think it's very, very important because many of us are looking for opportunities. And when we just come, they tell you, you have to take a survival job, or you have to start from the bottom of the food chain. All of that is a lie from the pit of hell. You know, what we all have to do is to network. When I saw the opportunity that I have today, I met my boss at an event like this, and I'm like, hey, this man, I will catch up. You know, I tried to connect personally. I came here as an immigrant. My boss is an American, but he also came here as an immigrant. The truth is, nobody here, most of the owners of this land, you know, they are the indigenous people. So everybody that is not indigenous probably came here as an immigrant. And then we connected on a personal level. So in having that conversation with him, the guy remembered me. I told him the challenge that I was expressing as a Black person. Yes, I had done other jobs with the University of British Columbia with FIDO, consulting with Society for Canadian Women in Science and Technology. But then again, all those jobs, I mean, they are nice to have, but I want something that I will be able to give impact, that I will be able to feel actualized, that I'll be able to contribute to society in terms of Black people in this land. This is being recorded, so I don't have to say what I want to say, what's in my mind to say, because I don't know where this is going to get to. But then again, if you look at the demographics, for those of you who live in the East Coast, you know, it's predominantly people, immigrants from South Asia. Here on the West Coast is immigrants from East Asia. And we know how these people are, you understand? So if we don't make a case for our people, if we don't make a case for people that look like us, as I am now, I have 3 children, you understand? And I don't want a situation whereby if Jesus has not come and we are all still alive, maybe in 20 years' time, my children will experience the same barriers that I am experiencing. So I see this as a cause, paying it forward, not just for myself, but also for my kids. So in terms of opportunities, sure, I'm able to assist you with opportunities within the bank, but you have to play your own part. First, Oster has created an amazing platform where you can learn the requisite skills required to do the job you want to do in tech. Next, you have to build networks. You have to, and this is a step in the right direction for attending events like this. The truth is, you have to sell yourself, and not selling yourself from a position of you are desperate. Sell your value. Most of us, when we came here from Nigeria, we didn't come because we were hungry. We're not from Ukraine that war chased us away. We came here because we are the cream of the crop. You understand? Because we've been there, done that. We have the t-shirt, we have the face cap, and we're able to deliver value. So this is hopefully this is going to be very interactive. But I'd like to hand over to my beautiful colleagues. And just to let you know, I worked with Tayo, in IHS Towers, and Peter, if you remember, I recruited Peter in Gratitude Trust Bank many, many years ago. It was our classmate, an international superstar. So I'm handing over to you.
Thank you, Caleb. Great intro, Caleb.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Caleb. Thank you so much. For all of you who are just joining, we had Mr. Caleb from RBC to speak. And if you're interested in opportunities at RBC, he's the one to go to. If you had missed, he had shared a QR code for you to scan. But if you're interested in any careers at RBC, feel free to go to their website, to their careers page, briefly scan through. And if you have any questions or you feel like you qualify, we're having a Q&A session after all speakers have spoken. So yeah. So next, we have the handsome Mr. Conrad Pitan that's going to tell us a bit about himself and who he works for and share a few opportunities that he might be able to help you secure. So we'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Vanessa. Good evening, everyone. So I work with Altus Technology Recruitment. I work there as an IT recruitment consultant. At Altus, we are a staffing firm. And what we do, I hope everyone can hear me. Vanessa, can you hear me clearly?
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you. I can
Great.
hear you. Thank you.
Now, what we do at Altus, being a staffing firm, is that we partner with many different organizations to fulfill their staffing needs. Now, very interesting. Just as we're starting this session, I took a quick glance at my my spreadsheet over the last 1 year, and I was able to identify that 90% of all the hires I have facilitated in the last 12 months have been people of color, over 90% actually. Some of them have been Nigerians, and it does tell us something, that for those of us who are working to be the best version of ourselves, there is a shift today that's creating more opportunities for people of color, more opportunities than ever before. Today, I have clients who reach out and who specifically ask that they want to recruit a person of color, and would prefer if we're able to find them someone talented and who is also a person of color. Now, that being said, a lot of people have reached out to me from this group. I have spoken to people who are looking for internships, who are looking to pivot into tech, who are looking to make a career transition. Now, I want to address that in that I know a lot of people are thinking, okay, I want to build a career in tech? First of all, what I would say is you need to ask yourself, why am I going into tech? You need to define what your motivation really is. Today, there's a trend where so many people are now business analysts, and there are people who are business analysts who don't even know exactly why they are becoming business analysts, except that that is where everybody seems to be leaning towards today. And they've heard, oh, there's a lot of money in business analysis, 6-figure salaries. And don't get me wrong, all of that is important. It's important for you to think about your future, the security of your career, the security of your income. But for you to really succeed in a demanding field like IT, there has to be greater motivation other than, oh, they said this is where it is raining now. This is where dollars are pouring, right? So you need to define your motivations and ensure that you really have a genuine motivation to work in tech. If you don't have the genuine motivation to work in tech, it's going to be difficult for you to grow in your career. It's going to be difficult for you to make the desired progress. And you may get to a point where you're caught in the middle. You've left your area of strength, pursuing a field that is, not really aligned to your passions, and you're just there in the middle. You're stuck, you're confused, and you're frustrated, and that's not a good place to be. Also, to give you the picture of the dynamics in a staffing firm, for a lot of companies, contacting an agency is not necessarily their first line of action when it comes to recruitment. Some of these people are reaching out to agencies because they've had roles open for 6 months, they've had roles open for 3 months, 2 months, and they have not been able to fill it. And they're trusting the networks that we have as an agency to help them headhunt for the right fit. What am I trying to say? When they come to us like this, the expectations are very high, right? We may not necessarily be the best option for you if you're starting fresh within technology, because companies do pay us a ridiculous amount of money to help them find top talent. And oftentimes, they're not looking to pay us that amount of money to bring them inexperienced tech talent. They are looking for us to help them recruit the very best of the talent available. Some that might not even be looking for jobs. They're trusting us to poach them and bring them over. So if you are someone who's new to tech, it is important that you have the educational foundation. It is also important that you align yourself with networks, environments where you're exposed to internship opportunities, environments where there is a lot of recruitment at entry level. Now, I'm very excited that Caleb is here, because I can imagine that out of the huge number of roles he's recruiting on, there are going to be a few opportunities at entry level. Amongst those, you might want to check organizations like Career Edge organization that from time to time lists professional internships. But when you're contacting an agency recruiter, I want you to understand, especially in tech, that may not apply for every industry, but especially in tech, the chances are that that recruiter would serve you better at a point where you have gained some level of experience and you're looking to, transition to the next level of your career, because the companies will not pay us so much money to bring them someone they can go to a university to hire. So I just want to, create, this um, um, discourse, for you to have more insights as to exactly what you should be looking towards, and how to align yourself to secure the opportunities you're looking for. There are great benefits of working with an agency. Well, for instance, when you're working with an agency, you get to bypass the ATS of a lot of these companies. Um, we all have heard, different stories about how ATS, work and all of that. Not all of those stories are accurate, but the bottom line is, in an organization's ATS are all sorts, and it can be very difficult for organizations to sift through all applications and really identify applications that are, of the level that is required. But when you're working with an agency, you get to go straight to the table of the hiring manager, because oftentimes we're speaking directly with the hiring managers, and many times you don't even need to fill an online application to be considered for an opportunity. Another thing about working with an agency is that we get to speak on your behalf. I can't count how many times a client has looked at the resume and said, oh, this guy doesn't look like what I'm looking for. But because we have taken time as an agency to understand where the candidate is coming from, we've been able to push back and say, no, you have it all wrong. You should speak with this person. And because they trust us that we are the experts in the market, then they take our word for it. They give us the benefit of the doubt. And oftentimes our candidates get interviewed. 90% of the time, our candidates get interviewed, right? Another thing about working with an agency, I've seen a lot of things on LinkedIn about, how companies ghost candidates, how you have interviews, you never hear feedback and all of that. And it's one of the beautiful things about working with an agency, because if for any reason our candidate is not moving forward, we want to know, because it's in our interest as well. This is how we generate revenue. We generate revenue from placements, right? So, and we work on contingency up until the time that a placement is made. So if for any reason the client isn't moving forward with resumes we have submitted, or with candidates that we're presented for interview, then we want to know. And that means you get the opportunity to get feedback on what really is going on in the back end. These are feedbacks that a lot of times you would never get when you are making job applications on your own. And not to mention that some roles may not even make it to the public job boards, and at an agency level we do have access to these roles, so you have a greater exposure to opportunities than when you're out there on LinkedIn and other job boards trying to apply. I know in some cases positions are already at advanced interview stages before those jobs are even posted on the public job boards, just perhaps as part of fulfilling some standard operating procedures, right? And lastly, we do get to negotiate for you. Some weeks ago, there was this trend on LinkedIn about a recruiter, lowballing a candidate and what have you. Now, working as an agency, especially when we're making permanent placements, we get paid a percentage of whatever salary is agreed with you. So the lower the salary you get, the lower our commission is. The higher your salary is, the higher our commission is. So as an agency, especially when we're working on permanent placements, we have no interest in securing you for the least salary possible. That's not how the way it works with us. We want to negotiate the best salary for you, because our commission is going to be based on the percentage of whatever salary is agreed for you, right? So we do help you with negotiation in a way that you might not ordinarily be able to negotiate from the start of the interview process. One of the first questions we ask hiring managers is, what is your budget for this position? What is the salary you're planning to pay? Are you flexible around this salary? Is this your absolute maximum? Do you can you stretch? So we know all of these things, which you ordinarily do not know when you're applying for roles on your own. You probably will say things like compensation competitive, and you don't really know what that is, and you're going into interviews a lot of times and you're not sure. I've spoken to a lot of people who are interviewing for jobs that they have no idea what offer is going to arrive at the end of the recruitment process. We save you a lot of that trouble, because we let you know what is obtainable from the beginning. You know exactly what you're getting into, what you're fighting for, right? And those are some of the beautiful, reasons why you should consider working with an agency. And I am open any day, anytime, to support as many people as I can possibly support. And I always do encourage people that look up Altus Recruitment. Whatever opportunities you find there that are aligned with you, if you're very confident that you can fulfill those roles, please reach out to me. Just let me know what the opportunity number is. I might not necessarily be the one recruiting on those roles, but I could connect you with my colleagues who are recruiting on it, right? And I'm very happy to do that, because it is a win for us. The higher the number of candidates we're able to place, the more revenue we're able to generate. So you're not being a hassle, you're not being a nuisance, you're not being a pest. You get those thoughts out of your mind. And if you're not gonna be a suitable candidate for those roles you're looking at, I'm also in a position to tell you why you're not. So you have a clear idea of what you should be looking at and what you should not be looking at. I think I've spoken a little too much and probably eating into tire's time. My apologies, but it is a pleasure being here. Thank you. What is the percentage commission for a recruiter? You need to pay me consulting fees for this. So let's speak in private. So why is it so? Vanessa, I hope you don't mind. I think there's some questions here directed to me. Why is it so challenging to get an entry-level role in tech as a new transited person? Look, it's not challenging. I don't think it is about being challenging, but you need to look at it this way. You are starting fresh. Now, where are the people starting fresh? Now, I've spoken to Nigerians who 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 are starting fresh in tech, and they want to start with 100K year salary. Some of the expectations are not realistic. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? We need to look at, where are those starting fresh? Where are they? Now, bear in mind that the educational curriculum here means that for a lot of university graduates, by the time they're graduating with almost 2 years experience because of the various co-ops that they have done over the course of their studies. So if a fresh university graduate is coming with 1 to 2 years experience, then you need to know that as someone who's transitioning into tech, your first priority should be somewhere, anywhere you can get your hands dirty. It could be an internship, it could be whatever, but the first 1 to 2 years laying the foundation is so important. How hard could you place a software developer with 6 months of experience? Well, if you're a Python developer, I have a couple of entry-level Python developer positions. We could talk about this if you happen to be a Python developer. But again, just like I said, Caleb might be in a better position to assist, those of you at entry-level point, because they do pay us a lot of money to find talent. And all these companies, they have connections with universities. They can easily go and pick talent from the universities, right? So they don't need to come to an agency necessarily to make an entry-level recruitment. That's the point I'm trying to drive home here. This recruiter would be strict. I don't describe it as strict. I think the minimum expectation my clients have of me is that I'll be professional and I would do right by them. And that is also the minimum expectation you should have of me, that I would be professional and I'll do right by you. As a recruiter, I am caught in the middle where I need to do right by my clients and I also have to do right by you as a candidate. Somewhere in between, that hybrid, a successful hybrid, that's where an excellent job lies for me, right? So it's not about being strict. I wouldn't describe it as being strict in that sense. What is the okay? I've addressed this. If a position is offered $100 per hour, can candidate be offered $40 an hour? Okay, so let me address this. Some positions are contract positions. Now, sometimes companies outsource positions to agencies like us, and they outsource it at a certain rate, and they expect us to quote and unquote do the job, but in the real sense of it, we're simply going to find someone who can do the job. And of course, with every endeavor, we need to make a profit. So what typically happens is in those positions, we try to look for someone who can do it for lesser than whatever rates the company, the organization has put the position to us. I'm not sure it's as far apart as $100 to $40. We're not slave drivers. We also want to pay if, and as a matter of fact, there are organizations who part of the agreement they have with us is to put a ceiling to how much we can make on a position. So I'm not sure this is going to be an accurate picture that we have the position $100, we're paying $40. I can't speak for every agency. I don't know if some agencies do that, but we try to operate in fairness. So this wouldn't be us. Sorry. um, right. So I think. mostly React for front end and .NET. No, I don't have an entry level position for this tech stack. I have a position. I think there are positions for more experienced people. For example, I'm recruiting a software development manager with the .NET Azure stack. So if there's someone at a senior level, manager level with this tech stack, we
6
should have a
months.
chat.
You should have finished traineeship when you finish university.
For people without cognate experience, organizations like Career Edge have offered exactly. I mentioned Career Edge earlier. Also, I happen to have a very good relationship with Career Edge. I know RBC also partners with Career Edge. With Career Edge, for instance, my partner was working there for a period of time. So I happen to still have very good relationships with them, and I could still make referrals to Career Edge. I'm sure Caleb too can make referrals to Career Edge if you find very good internship opportunities there. I'm sure Caleb would be willing to help. I would also be willing to help with referrals.
Yes, just
Caleb,
to
is that
add to
correct?
that,
Yeah,
I have somebody in my team who refers to me who is the representative from Careers Edge. So because I work in the inclusive recruitment team, we know people who apply to Careers Edge more often than not are new immigrants that just come into the country with little or no experience, and also people who are fresh graduates. So they have an amazing program where they offer paid internships. And in RBC, I don't know about other organizations, there is an 80% chance of conversion into full-time employment, just to put that out there.
And I would buttress what Caleb just said. I have a friend who's winding down on an internship with RBC from Career Edge, not a tech role, but I know she's in the last couple of days been offered a permanent position. So when he says that, I can corroborate it. So
Awesome. Thank you so much,
this is my
Conrad. Thank
email.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. For everyone, we'll have questions at the end. Please save all your wonderful questions for the end. We have one more speaker left, and then we'll have room for everyone to ask their questions. But thank you so much, Conrad. That was so insightful. Thank you so much. So
Thank
our
you.
last speaker for the night is the beautiful Miss Tayo. She will be able to tell you a bit about herself and where she works and how to get jobs at her agency and a few insights there. So I'll open the floor to you, Tayo. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I feel like I don't have to add to what Conrad has said. He said a lot. I also work at an agency, a recruitment agency. The company is called the Ian Martin Group. And we basically do exactly what Conrad just said. We match candidates. We match great candidates with companies. So yeah, we are the middlemen. And we don't solely deal with IT roles. We deal with all sort of roles. And in the past, we're actually known for engineering roles, contracts, we contract management. But over the years, obviously with the world, you have to be very dynamic and move with the world. We've obviously moved to, we literally, take on clients that just want to fill roles. And we're very particular about clients that, provide meaningful work, because we're a B Corp company. I know Nigerians looking for work don't even care what that is. But actually, what B Corp means is that we're very focused on people and the environment, giving back to the environment, and just ensuring that people are enjoying the work that they're actually doing. It's not just passing time. So that's a bit about the company that I work for. I'm a recruitment specialist. And in our company, we have a platform because we have a big company. Actually, we have about 500 recruiters scattered around Canada, in the US, and Ghana. Now we have colleagues in Ghana and the Philippines. So we have a platform known as livehire.com. I'm going to share my screen now. I just want to show you guys what that looks like. 1 minute, share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see
Yeah,
your
so
screen.
the website is ianmartin.com. And I simply went to, okay, so let me just go back. So this platform is kind of, it comes from our website. This is our website. And then I come here and I just, because this is a tech conference, I'm just going to click on information technology. And it takes me to about over 100 jobs that we have in IT. But the best approach for you as an individual searching for work, newly in Canada or just trying to, change jobs, is to come here and just click on apply for a job. And where it takes you is a platform called livehire.com. Livehire as in LIVE, hire, HIRE.com. You don't have to cram that, just the website is enough. And it literally takes you to a kind of like our ATS environment where you simply load a profile on it. The thing is, our ATS, I don't know, I guess like every other ATS, but ours is very, very intelligent. It uses all this AI technology. If you put in your profile appropriately, using keywords of the role that you're looking for, when we load up jobs into this platform, what we'd see first as suggestions for that role will be your profile. Yeah, so that's what happened. It really helps because if one of the business development guys comes to me now and say, Tayo, there's a new client, we have an intake call. Yep, as a recruiter, my goal is to close out on that role as fast as possible. So I'm going out looking for the best candidates fast. So if you have done your part by loading yourself up on our platform with a great profile, a great resume, putting in keywords, not just dumping like job description, or because we see that a lot, but putting in the right keywords for the role that you're looking for, that there's a great chance that you will actually be looked at. And no matter how overwhelmed we are, we actually look at all those profiles. Amazing. Well, before working for recruitment firms, I used to think that things would get lost in transit. But the thing about it is that if you have a great profile, if you put in your work, which is actually putting together a great profile that is attractive, there's a great chance that your resume will not be bypassed, And so that's one of the things that I want to bring here. As someone who is looking for, a job in the North American space, it's very important and critical that you look into how to, compress your resume. Okay, I'm going to give you guys an example. A couple of weeks ago, I had a role that I wanted to fill in. It was an accountant role. Someone that was almost completing their CPA. And there was this, obviously, just like Caleb said, I always try to be an advocate of Black people. And in my company, they know me in all the meetings. When they complain about not filling roles, I'm always telling them, from my experience, there are loads of internationally trained professionals coming in from out that just want that chance. And they're really good. They just want that chance. They want that person to give them the chance. Just take a look at their resume. So this individual had ICANN from Nigeria, and he had it for over 10 years. So he had the FCCA. Then on his resume, he had PMP. Then he had CPA in progress. He had all this certification, and it was so confusing. And so when but I understood perfectly because I'm coming from Nigeria. I understand those alphabets in front of your name. So, but when I presented him to the account manager for that role, he told me, Tayo, what exactly is this guy? Is he a project manager or is he an account? What's all this? So it's very important that we kind of tailor our resume to the Canadian style. They don't want jack of all trades. They actually want you to be specific in your trades. And if you're interested in moving to another, then you move to another. So you can't be everything. You can't be a project manager and then be this, an accountant. You have to speak to what your resume has to speak to what role that you're looking for. And if you look at it very quickly, you realize that back home in Nigeria, there was a lot of generalizing, like a lot of us were generalizing in our roles. So if in all the things that you did back home, you want to restrict yourself to one particular role, it's important for you to pick attributes from the past roles that you feel are tailored to the role that you are looking for, and just put them on your resume. You don't have to put everything you did on operations in the bank in Nigeria. Nobody really cares about that. So pick what you've done that is relevant to the role that you're applying for, and then put that on your resume. Ensure you put your achievements. Another thing I wanted to mention is that when it comes to resumes too, I put it down here. Some of us, the way some roles are called back home in Nigeria, like we didn't have HR generalists, for example, back home in Nigeria. However, we had people doing generalist duties in HR. So it's critical and important for you to know when you're in the job market, what's the roles, what's the duties that you carried out in your role, in your past role, what they are named here. Because as a recruiter, if I'm not from Nigeria, if you put HR, I don't know, I can't remember what we used to call different HR people in back home, because I'm in HR. But if you put that, and I'm already turned off because I'm not seeing what I'm, recruiters are busy. They look at a lot of resumes. So you have to give them a break too. So it has to be relatable. You need to you need to look at what roles are called here and make sure that you actually, you tailor your resume in that form. In terms of applying for roles in my organization, the best bet for you is to go to the website and you create a profile. It's very critical for you to ensure that your keywords are on that profile, because you will, even though we do have sources, people that source actually for roles, but if you want to be like on top of the list for the roles that you are looking for, it's important that you have keywords. So for example, if you're looking to be a project, like a Scrum Master, for example, you have to have sprinkled on your resume the different, terminologies around Scrum. You might want to write about the different activities that you, maybe like daily stand-ups, retrospectives, those words, because the way it works in my organization, we have people that deal with everything. So when we have a call from a client, for example, an intake call, we have people that do the content writing, like the JD. You guys, you'll be surprised that what happens on our side, because you just see a JD or you see a job posted on the board and you think someone just carelessly wrote it. There was an intake call. And then in that intake call, there was someone there that was able to capture all the requirements from that client, that now turns it around into a JD. So when you look at a JD online on a job board, the first thing you have to do as a job seeker is to figure out what the keywords are and in that role, and you have to find a way to sprinkle it around your resume. That's like walking towards the answer. And it doesn't have to be in literal form. If I'm looking on a JD, if I'm saying I'm looking for someone that has done 4 years Scrum Agile coaching, or I don't want you to go on your resume and say 4 years Agile coaching. It will be too obvious that you did that. So you have to be very creative with the way you put together your profile or your resume, so that you will be like the top choice for those roles when it comes up. And there are roles, there are opportunities for, and contrary to what Conrad said earlier, yes, there might not be opportunity like an entry role, but I realized, from interaction with people, that a lot of us have skills that are transferable, from back home. You just need to recognize it. And then you might want to get some coaching for people in roles that you are aspiring to go to. So for example, someone wrote here that, how do you get a product owner role? There's so many people, even in the Nigerian community, that are doing well as product managers and product owners. You have to ensure that you have the skills, you have all the qualification, because that's another thing. Because here, what we don't have in, they believe in a lot in their experience, because they know that, as Conrad said, before, as a graduate, you have about 2 years of experience from internships. They don't know about the experience you're coming with. They can't quantifying is not the word, but they're not sure of the experience. But you have to come with what certifications to show that you have that. And then you now get some coaching. You get coaching from people in roles that you're aspiring to be. And I've heard a lot about success stories of people. I have a lot of examples. If we had 3 hours today, I will have told you guys a lot of examples of individuals who have gotten great jobs that way, and 6-figure jobs, Conrad, 6-figure jobs that way, and they're doing well today. You know what I mean? So we have to do our parts. You know, you need to upskill yourself. You need to present yourself in that manner. You need to be able to justify all you have on your resume, because really, as a recruiter, I want to look good in front of my clients. So I'm not going to bring, not because you're Nigerian, I'm not going to be mediocre about presenting candidates. I want to make an impact in my community, but I want to be that person that brings people from my community that are always the best. So please be the best, and we'll present you to clients. And if you see anything on Ian Martin's website, and even if I'm not personally recruiting for that role, as Cara said, because we are insiders, we can definitely introduce you to the hiring managers, or not hiring managers, like the recruiters in charge, and we take it from there. I think what you need to do on your end is put your best foot forward, present yourself in a manner that I will be able to raise up my hand and say, this is your candidate. And yeah, and then we'll take it from there. So I wish you all the very best, and yeah, welcome to Canada.
Thank you so much, Tayo. Thank you so much. That was so insightful. And thank you to all the speakers. That was a very insightful session. Thank you so much. So,
Excuse
Caleb.
me, Vanessa, I think Caleb wanted to say something.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Tayo. I mean, Tayo and Pitan, you have said it all. But there's something I think is also very, very important. You know, I didn't talk about it, but de-Nigerianize your resume. Many recruiters have what is called an unconscious bias. Once they see a name they cannot pronounce, once they see you have experience from a country that is not in North America, first-hand experience, I know, as Tayo said, once you have suffered in Nigeria, the work here is not rocket science. You know, currently I work in my full role here. I also work in a full job in Nigeria simultaneously, and I'm able to do it. I teach also here, but then because the work is not rocket science. But then again, the Nigerian, I'm not saying I'm Nigerian, I'm a proud Nigerian, but for the sake of the recruitment process, on your resume, if you worked in Zenith Bank, for instance, let it be Zenith Bank. Zenith Bank is an international brand. When you put it Zenith Bank Nigeria, if I'm a recruiter from, I'm telling you for free, you understand? Nigeria, this person. In my organization, when I joined, we had to do an unconscious bias training for all the recruiters. And I was amazed, you know, as simple as not being able to pronounce a certain name. This person is what it is. So something I think is very, very important. Just for unconscious bias sake, you can make your CV neutral in terms of your location or the experience that you have. And as Ty also mentioned, from the job description and the job posting, you have the right terms. So you could just substitute that in what's currently on your resume. You can do the work, you can do the work. So just forget about the main grammar. And finally, network. Put in your own work. Put in the work, as Tayo also mentioned. When there's a job posting available, if you go to LinkedIn, you will find somebody in that organization. More often than not, you will find the hiring manager. You drop a line. You're not going about begging or saying, I want a job, please help me. But you're trying to connect on a personal level. Oh, I see you went to this school. Oh, I see you, I like this. I see, at the end of the day, when you get your job, what you concern the person. The goal is to get the job. Begin with the end in mind. And everything you need to do, you know, in terms of putting in the work, I think is very, very important that you do and don't give up. So all of us were once there before in terms of hosting, but then again, God answered our prayers. And you did your part. I did my part. God also did his part.
Well, yeah, thank you so much, Caleb. That was very insightful. And yeah, like definitely I have seen this whole bias thing before. I'm also partially a victim of it too myself. So yeah, but with that being said, we are going to open the floor for questions now. So how it's gonna work is if you have a question that you'd like to ask any of our speakers here today, please raise your hand and I will call your name out. And in order to raise your hand, I think you just go to the reactions tab and then click on it and press raise hand. And then once your question has been answered or you've been able to ask your question, I kindly ask that you lower your hand, please. I will also be checking the chat box for questions too. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat box as well. I will try to ask all of them too, or we'll try to get them all answered. So yeah, we're gonna use the next 20 or so minutes to have questions. So feel free to ask your questions. So I guess Victor, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question.
Okay, thank you so much, Vanessa, for this opportunity. So, and thanks to all the speakers that have spoken. So yeah, my question goes those. I think I'm having two questions. I just hope I can remember the two because I didn't write them down. So my first question is, like, does certification really matters when it comes to recruiting? I mean, here in Nigeria, I mean, it's one of the things that really matters here. But I really want to know, maybe over there, maybe we're trying to apply for a job, outside the country. I really want to know whether that really matters. So I think that's my first question.
Okay, I can answer that quickly. Can you remember your second? Do you want to say the second too?
No, not yet.
Okay, so I'm going to say this very quickly. This is solely my own personal experience, and I hope, I don't know, I believe Conrad and Caleb might have their own experience and want to share too. But my experience is this: I realized that as one of the speakers said, the average graduate in Canada has at least, my daughter, I have a 16-year-old daughter, and she started working last summer. And I always share with her daily when I see candidates. There was a time I was recruiting for some customer service role, and they include all the roles they've done, especially for customer service, because you want people to know that you started to work at the age of 15. And then for that reason, you can interact with people, you have customer service skills and all that. So back to your question, for an average Nigeria, even though you have 12 years of experience back home, they don't know the quality of experience you have. The only leveler that you can show is an international certification. So for example, you've worked in the bank as a product owner or a product manager, even though they didn't call you that title for so long. And you want to come to a place like that, that you just put on your resume that you worked in Zenith. Where is Zenith? If it's international, fine, but I've never been to that part of the world. How do I know the quality of experience you have? But you come and you tell me you have all that experience. And I went for the training Caleb talked about. So I'm trying to take off my bias about not understanding the quality of experience you have, because I see you have the, even though they say it's not necessary, they'll say it's an advantage, those certifications. I might want to have a talk with you as a recruiter. And that's what's happening, in this role. Like the same role that I was recruiting for, the project manager role, there was a Nigerian, he came here to school, and then he went up and he has all the certifications. In fact, he has some certifications in building construction that the client didn't even want. Do you know, between you and I, he went for a candidate that didn't have all that certification, but has been working forever in construction management, because he worked in North America. So if your skin was another color, or you've been here all your life, maybe you had children, or I don't know, maybe there's no need for you to do certification. But my brother, Victor, because you are coming at this time in your life, it is important for you to back up your experience with certifications. Don't go crazy. Ensure that you know what you want to do. So it's not for you to have, the Scrum, then you have engineering, then you have, I don't know, like when you have accounting, you have all these alphabets from A to Z in front of your name. No, but for the profession that you want to do, it's important for you to get certified for it, because then you can get the leg in the door with that, and then prove yourself along the way. You might not even need to pay for the membership in the future, but you need that to get your foot in the door, in my opinion anyway. This is solely my opinion.
Thank you. I'll go next, and I think that is very, very valid. Personally, I'm not pro certificate, but if you know the occupation you want to undergo or undertake is regulated and you need some certifications, you have to get the certifications before you put in the applications. For those of us who have the certificates, you should also know how to talk about the certificates that you have, because many of us have gotten the PMP and what have you, but are not able to articulate, are not able to sell ourselves with this certificate. So it's neither here nor there, but once you're not able to talk about it, then you are on your own.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you for answering that. Victor, do you want to answer the second question? Hello, Victor? Okay, I guess he is not with us. Okay, Deborah, feel free to unmute yourself and answer your question. And after Deborah, I will be going into the chat box and asking questions from there.
Hi everyone, thanks for the wonderful interaction we've had and for your contributions. It's important and we appreciate your time. I think this one I would specifically ask Caleb, because I've worked with recruiters, so I know for recruiters it's different. So Caleb, assuming someone applies through the website for the first time for a job with the organization, and they are not shortlisted for that particular role, but then a future role arises and they want to apply again, does your system automatically phase out that candidate on the basis that their profile is already in your system and didn't match previous roles, or do you still consider them? The reason I'm asking for this is because I've applied for roles before with TD Bank, and somehow every time I try to apply for jobs, the only time I get calls back is if I create a new email address. So I feel like TD is biased towards my profile with them. So I know it doesn't apply to recruiters, because once you have a profile with recruiters, they normally call you back for other roles. I've had them call me back whenever a role arises on their end. So please clarify.
Okay, thank you. Well, the short answer is no. In RVC, we are very big on data protection and privacy. So if you put in an application, once if you're applying for 2 jobs, for instance, both recruiters can't see that you have put in an application in the past, because we believe at the end of the day, everybody should be given a fair hearing, a fair chance. The concern is when you have somebody that is applying sporadically. So you see 7 jobs open, and then you use one resume and just apply to 7 positions. There's a possibility that you might be applying to one recruiter but managing 2 requisitions. And then, I've seen this CV before. I've seen this CV here. What's going on? This person is not, I believe in aim and shoot. If you apply sporadically, then it's if you have to put in the work in terms of editing your resume for each application, then you won't apply for multiple openings at the same time. But in RBC, we have, as I mentioned earlier, we're big on data protection. Even if you have applied for 10 positions, once it's not the same recruiter, they don't have visibility of that requisition. And then the hiring manager obviously would not know that you've applied or you've been rejected from other roles in the back. What's also important is if you don't get feedback, reach out to the recruiter, I applied for this role on XYZ day, and I didn't get any feedback. I thought I was an ideal candidate. Why did I not get feedback? And even if the recruiter will get back to you, even if I know they are very, very busy, but because of the brand that they represent, and when you see somebody who is persistent, nobody wants to get into trouble. Nobody wants to get anybody that will put that on social media and say this bank is biased or this bank is racist or all of that. So if you are persistent from a healthy perspective, then definitely you would get feedback. In the event that you have not received feedback, you can reach out to someone in the organization. Oh, dear XYZ, or or you have a friend on LinkedIn who is friends with someone in that organization, please do, I applied to this role, I didn't get any feedback. I just want feedback as to, and somebody would call someone to call someone to call someone and hopefully get back to you. Then you take the feedback that and you for your own improvement, adjust and put it on the application.
And just to add to what Caleb has said, do look at the job description before you apply for a job, and please apply to roles you are qualified for. I know you've received a lot of blessings from your pastor, and the motivational speakers have spoken words of inspiration into your life, and you believe that you can apply for even the position of the CEO of RBC. But real life does not work that way, especially when some candidates, you see them applying to HR director, VP. That same candidate is applying to an intern role in the same organization. It it does come across as very funny, and it speaks volumes about your self-awareness. It appears more like you don't really know what you're looking for or what you're doing when you're applying sporadically. Let me use Caleb's term to buttress my point here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have a few questions in the chat box. The first question is from Eunice, and this question is for Tayo. She asked, what are some questions that you should ask during an interview? If I read that correctly. Yeah, what kind of questions should you expect during an initial HR interview with an organization? So Tayo, if you're able to answer that, that would be awesome.
So the very first call that you get is someone trying to screen you. And usually, to be honest, if it's a complaint, is usually the lowest person in the rank. So you need to convince that person that you are the right candidate for the role. So they will ask you, because they will have like the critical parts of that role that you must have to move to the person. So they don't want to waste the next person's time. So this person is going to sieve candidates to see people that are worthy to go to the next stage. That's in the company perspective. I don't know about Conrad's company, but in my company, the first call is a recruiter's call. And that's the recruiter for that role. So that's the call. And so you need to convince that recruiter that you're the right candidate for the role. So it will be around questions about, they're going to try to make you feel comfortable, because as I said to you, and as Conrad said, the aim is for me to find the best candidate fast, because it's all about the money, as much as and you're in the middle. So you have to do right by your client, and you have to ensure you're getting the best candidate. So I'm hoping that somehow the universe is smiling on me, and the first person I call is the best candidate, I hope. So I'm gonna try to, I will try to make you feel comfortable so that you don't feel like it's an interview. But you still have to convince me that you are worthy to be, because in most situations, the next might just be the hiring manager straight. So as Conrad said, when they come to us, they've tried. So there are openings that they've had for a while, and they feel like they've not had any success, filling them. So they now come to you and say they want ASAP. So there's no beating around the bush anymore. The next stage will probably be the hiring manager and someone in authority that can make a decision. So I want to be sure that you are worthy enough to take that person's time. So I'm going to cover things like your background, your experience, and in relation to the role. So it's not all your experience that you have in your resume, because I want to believe that the recruiter already has your resume. So high level, those points that you want to highlight that makes you the best candidate for this role. That's what I want to hear from you. because I'm going to take notes, and there's going to be a presentation of you to the client, which will have those key points. I'm saying I'm presenting Tayo. She's coming with 10 years work experience in project management. She's worked in this industry. Just point. So that's why the JD that you see on job boards is very critical. As a matter of fact, when I was looking for work, I would take it, put it on a Word document, and try to think from the from the mindset of the person that posted it, and figure out what these key points are. And those are the things you have to speak to when you're talking to the recruiter. You know what I mean? And then they'll also ask you about your compensation. And I always see this when people always think it's a trick question. But as one of the panel speakers said, the client has given us a budget. So there's no point wasting anybody's time if your budget is above it. And if it's if what you are expecting is above the budget. However, if it's below, this is the time when, if we think you're worthy you have all it takes for that role, this is the time where we'll tell you that, no way. I tell my candidate, I say, why would you say you take anything? 60K for this role? Because at the end of the day, I know that the role is 80 to 100K, and this person seems like that candidate for me. So I want him to be able to be confident enough that he deserves the 80K or 100K or whatever. Because at the end of the day, I'm getting like 18% of that. I want to bring revenue to my company. I want to be applauded in the meeting, but I want that because I want that candidate also to be confident enough to say it when it goes to see the hiring manager. So basically, you selling yourself to. So whoever you're talking to, you need to sell yourself to that person, because that person is there to see you as a candidate, to see whether you're worthy of the time of the VIPs. So everything in relation to that role that you've done, high level, point it out, make sure you point it out, keep highlighting it, and then you talk compensation. Be sure to know what you want. I know sometimes you might be desperate to say anything, but we have to put into consideration the standard of living wherever you are. And then if you have, and we also always ask that, do you have vacations planned? All that, so that we can manage the expectations of the client, to that I'm giving you this fantastic candidate. However, this is what he has planned. He wants to move. He would need 2 weeks, but he has this plan for later in the year. All that, so manage expectations of everything. There's a trend that has been happening recently. I don't know if it's relevant to this discourse, but I realized that as an HR professional, I have the certification. So it's illegal for a recruiter to ask you what you are currently earning. You're not supposed to ask. As in, they ask you, you should not tell. So I see that a lot of candidates now, I think they know. So, and they don't even, so when you ask them about compensation, for example, I know this is not a question, but I just wanted to bring out, this is our community, let us know too. They just provide that information freely. So when you say, what do they want to earn? I say, well, Tayo, I'm currently earning 80,000 where I am, even though I can't verify, but they say they are currently earning 80,000 where they are. They are hoping that, because I won't tell them what the band is, but they'll just say, well, I mean, for the move to make sense, it should be more than that. And I'm not going to tell you a figure because I don't know what your budget is, Tayo, but so I see that a lot of people do that now. It's kind of like a trend. And then at the end of the day, when they get the job, they come on LinkedIn and say they double their salary. I don't know if they're lying. I'm not saying they're not lying. And they're not all Nigerians, so it's not Niger sense, but it's a trend. So if it works for you, fine, but don't get caught. But that's basically what that first call is. It's just to sieve you if you're worthy of the time of the VIP.
And just to add to what Tayo has said, you need to know that the questions would depend on what position. It's not, we're not carrying a template of questions that we ask for every position. The questions are streamlined to the position. You can always, check on Google, interview questions for a data analyst, interview questions for a project manager. you would get ideas of what kind of questions you could be asked, because we also do consult these resources. I'm not a project manager. I have to learn what questions I need to ask a project manager. Do you understand? So you could actually get ahead of, questions that the HR person may ask. And for example, I'll use a business analyst, because it is a very popular uh, IT field in our community. So I probably would want to ask you, okay, what areas or domain uh, does your business analysis experience fall into? That question, you know, helps me to see if you really understand, what you're doing as a business analyst, but what area, what domain do you fall into? What industries does your BA experience cover? Tell me about a recent project that represents something challenging you worked on in the last 3 years. What was the nature or domain of the project? What were you responsible for delivering? What was the problem you were hired to solve? At what phase of the project did you join? Who did you report to? Tell me about the team. You know, those questions, if you really, that is why you see, for, and I know I'm not trying to knock anybody here, but I know there are people who have been attending, some, side programs where they have been, coaching you on, how to present yourself, how to write business analysis resume and project management resume and all of that stuff. But the truth is that you're not going to get past a recruiter who knows what they are doing if you don't really have that depth. So that's just to give you an idea. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Conrad. We have 2 questions in the chat box for Caleb, and then I will move on to individuals who have raised their hands. I'll take 2 more questions from the 2 people who have raised their hands. But for you, Caleb, somebody asked, is it okay to reach out to employees at an organization on LinkedIn when you're about to be interviewed, just to get a sense of what to expect? Is that ethical? So that's the first question, Caleb. And then the second question is, does RBC or Canadian banks confirm work experience and references from Nigeria?
Okay, I already responded to both individuals, in the chat, but then again, I could say it openly. First, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to someone in the organization to get information. You have absolutely nothing to lose. The answer is yes or no. And the person could provide you with insights. The person could tell you, okay, this is the way we do things around, this is what they are looking out for, or especially if it's a Nigerian person or a fellow Black person, they'll be able to give you some direction. Then in relation to the second question, yes, financial institutions, they have to confirm reference and all of that. Now, I mean, it's only, you can, I mean, most employers would do that.
Okay, thank you. And there's just one more question I'm going to ask in the chat box, because I really like the question, and it's from James. And it's, how does one close the gap in work experience? Let's say in Nigeria, you worked as a network engineer and are arriving in Canada and you could not get network engineering jobs, but survival job for 3 years plus. How do you build your resume again to seek for network engineering jobs after you've gotten some certification in Canada? So I guess he has relevant experience back home in Nigeria for that role, and he's trying to convince Canadian employers that he can do the job in Canada as well. So if any of you could answer that, that'd be awesome.
I'll just go first. Survival job for 3 years, it has become career. It has become survival career. The truth is, many of us have imposter syndrome. You feel, I've come here, I'm in a new country, oh, I cannot do the job, blah, blah, blah. But all of us know that we are miles ahead from a technology perspective. Look at banking, for instance. I'm not speaking down on my bank or any bank here, but I know in Africa, from a mobile banking perspective, they are light years ahead compared to what it is we have here. From an investment banking perspective, from a wealth management perspective, they're also, cutting edge and forward thinking. So deal with your imposter syndrome. You are able to do the job. If you've been going for interviews and you're not getting callbacks, you should find out that it's not the same job I was doing in Nigeria. What am I? You cannot do the same thing and expect different results. If it's your resume, there are people online who you can pay some money. They will help you package your CV. At the end of the day, on that packaging, when you get the job, you will be able to deliver because you have done it in the past, But then again, it's not enough to say, oh, I've been getting rejections. You keep pressing on, you keep trying. Also, if you get rejections, you can always get feedback. Why? And whatever feedback you get, you can also, for your own improvement, adjust. Maybe I said this way, or maybe this is what. And go back, and one of us were there before now. That's my own small viewpoint, And I think because I know if you have worked in Nigeria before, Nigeria is blood work, because Conrad, we worked in Granite Trust back together, you know how it was. Kyle, we worked in IHS together, you know how it was. Compare that to your roles here. It's JJ and Wanyo. It's not like it's rocket. So we have what it takes and more. Like I know Conrad and Kyle said some things that you have to present yourself. But me, once I see the person has worked in Nigeria, the person has the right mindset, even if it's to be economical with the truth, I will tell the person, this is what they're going to ask you. This is what you should say. This is what you understand. At the end of the day, it's a cause for me. I'm not getting money for you. I'm not getting, but then again, it's basically a cause for my kids.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So I'm gonna, we have 2 people who raised their hands. So I think that might be our last 2 questions. If we have a little bit time, we'll ask a few questions in chat, but I guess, Carol, if you are still there, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Now, I've been part of previous conversations where people always talk about transferable skills from doing what you're doing right now into transition into certain roles that has been mentioned in this forum: business analysis, product management, scrum master, things of that nature. So my first question is really, how realistic or how good are my chances to land a tech job as one like the previous ones I just mentioned, without having any previous experience in tech? And 2, does it actually better my chances to chase a certificate, add it to my resume without making any tweaks to it, not falsifying or adding anything to it from Nigeria, to actually land a tech job? How good are my chances?
I want to respond to that. I'm going to use examples from people that I know, because my friend Conrad has another view to it. We've talked a lot about this, but my own perspective is different, maybe because of people that I have around me. So I have some individuals that worked in banks back home in Nigeria, and when they got here, obviously the confusion, because in the bank there's a lot of generalizing. We're all generalists, Especially when you say you're a manager here, they'll be like, manager of what? So they came here, and one of the things that helped me personally when I came here, also I came very confused. And I had a clarity call with someone, a certain individual that was in the profession that I was thinking of joining then. And because, when you meet people like Caleb who have suffered it and they've gotten to that point, and is now the point where they want to make an impact, they make you see things from perspective that you coming from Nigeria, like any job, I'm ready for a job. They make you see things from a clearer. So that's why it's very important to have like clarity calls from people who are settled already, or in the professions that you are aspiring to. So when these individuals came, they had the clarity call, and they came with some of their first resume. 2 of them was very elaborate, obviously showing everything they've done back home. And then the clarity call, the question was, what are you passionate about? What exactly do you think you can bring out of everything that you have done? And they were able to luckily the bank that we're working for, Standard Bank, started using Agile in 2000, and actually they sent some of them on training, and they even made them Scrum Masters. But you know, Nigeria, we're not even calling them product owners or anything. They were chasing senior manager. You know how Nigeria is now. And they were able to streamline their experience because we have those skills. All you have to do is talk to someone that can make you see where you have, you've done those things in the past. And these individuals came in first few months, or like they had the Scrum from back home, first few months, tidy up some certifications, and then got coaching from this Clarity individual, they're there in our, they're so good in our community, Nigerian community, because we have such a robust IT tech community of Nigerians. Like Conrad said, everybody wants to be a business analyst. It's always amazing when those roles come up in my company. My colleagues ask me that, are all Nigerians business analysts? And I always smile. So then you get coaching. You have to get to the point where you're confident to speak to those skills that you've done, because you've done them. You have certifications, you have the experience, then you tailor that. Your resume can't be a generalist resume anymore. All you have to have there are those things that speak to those roles you're aspiring to be. And I'll tell you for free, so now one of the things that one of them told me was one of his mistakes, his early mistakes, even though I don't even see it as a mistake, I think it happened so that we can share and let people. His first role that he was aspiring to was a product manager role, and he applied for a month, at average of 20 resumes every day when he first came to Canada, and it was a job. Looking for a first job is a full-time job, and he didn't get traction. Then he went back to this person that, the person explained to him that one of the things is that a product manager, you were talking about someone who understands the environment, the customer environment. You're coming from Nigeria, you are not here, you're just new to North America. That why don't you start applying for product owner roles, which is kind of like, if you understand the team, you have a Scrum Master, a product owner who is like the customer in the Agile team. So he talks to customer, but he still has a manager. So it's like you testing waters, and they testing that you understand the terrain. Apply for that and work there for a year. That the guy said to him that he can bet it with him that in that same organization, after a year of proving yourself, you can apply for a product manager role, or if they're not giving you workouts, there's no loyalty. You're only loyal to yourself and your personal development and your pockets. And that was exactly how it happened for this individual. After a year, he tried to apply for a product manager role in his organization. He couldn't, they were dilly-dallying, and then he went out to the market. You should always go out to the market to see what you're worth. And after your first job, you'll be confident to do that. It's always that first job that you feel like, anything. So he went out, and then he saw that he could get it. And something he has been working in his company for 5 months to just get that role. Because they didn't want him to go, everything changed within 48 hours. They gave him almost like 40-something% of his increment in his salary. This is someone that's just been in Canada for less than 2 years. So what I'm saying invariably is, you have the skills. They talk about transfer. I know you is a buzzword. Networking. When I came to Canada, the buzzword was transferable skills and networking. I thought I was an extrovert, that networking will be a piece of cake, until I realized that it is very strategic and is a lot of work. So, and then transferable skills, like what exactly is that? But you have to take a minute to think about your experience holistically. Have a clarity call with someone in the profession you're aspiring to be. Let them see things from a very calm, non-hustling perspective, because you're coming to from Nigeria with, I'm coming to Canada, I want to work, I want to earn dollars. So this person will see things from a clearer, chilled perspective and say, yeah, but you did this in Guarantee Trust Bank now. See, but this is exactly what, this is what but just chill, do product owner. Then afterward, do Scrum Master. Then you now aspire to, after a year, you do, just take it a bit, but it is possible, because I've seen real life manifestation of this, not one person, not two people. If you go on YouTube, a lot of them when they get their jobs, they go on YouTube to do videos because it's such an is a journey. It is a journey, and it's something that you're proud of, and you want people in our community to, tap from that experience, and that's my own experience anyway, from people around me. Surround yourself with great people, not the people that hustle, people that will. This motivational speaking thing is important too, because imposter syndrome is real. There's a tendency that you doubt yourself. Always, you be like, am I really worth it? And then when you look at 100,000 as per annum, you now say, me, what am I carrying? When I got my first job last year, I started out by applying severally. I know I went to Conrad. A lot of people. I finished school, and I thought it was just going to, get me on the platter of gold. And after applying 65 times to 65 roles, and people were just telling me, sorry, I realized that it wasn't going to be a piece of cake. And then I now started to be strategic about things. And at the end of the day, when I wanted to choose, I had 6 offers, as in I was shocked. Imposter syndrome came up. I have a community that I talked to, and I said to them that I'm beginning to think that, do these guys know what they're paying, but signing in for? Am I that good? Why do they all want me? This is me that was desperate for work initially. So I had to have prep talk with people that were in the calm position I mentioned. Even though I've been in Canada for a couple of months, I was still in the hustling spirit because I wanted to get that job. But they spoke with me and said, Tayo, you have it. You have it. All you have to do is go there, pick the right job that will, have all the opportunities you want, and then, go there and prove yourself. And it's been like that, from then onwards. So imposter syndrome is real. Surround yourself with great people, less hustling spirit, people that are comfortable like Caleb, so that they can remind you that you're worth it and you can do it. And there's Kara. I hope I've been able to inspire and tell you that it's possible.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Just
much.
just to add to what Tayo has said, I would use myself as an example. Working now in a staffing company, I started out my career in GT Bank, like Caleb rightly mentioned, and I was an account officer for SME banking. For those of you who are familiar with the banking industry, you have a very good idea of what this must have been like. Well, to put it in lay terms, I was a marketer. All right. Now, coming into the staffing industry, it took me getting into it for me to realize that um, some of the things that I'm actually doing here are things that I have done before. So in my current seat as a recruitment consultant, I am engaging with client companies. I am doing business development, seeking out new roles that we can recruit on. And I was like, how's this different from when I was in banking, harassing people for their funds? Oga, how much are you expecting in your account this month? Just the same thing. Hello, sir. Do you happen to have any IT staffing needs? I see you have this job posted for the last 2 months. Do you need support? Now, 2 very different industries, but the same skill. I also worked in operations, and I dealt with customers coming into my branch, and we had to deliver customer experience. Fast forward to today, my clients in the staffing industry today are like those clients that I worked with as an account officer in SME banking. They are my corporate clients. Those candidates that I'm talking to today are those customers that used to walk into my branches trying to do transactions. It's almost the same thing. So this is a very good example of what transferable skills are all about. So when I used to think about candidate customer experience, now what I'm thinking about is candidate experience. When I used to think about, satisfying those corporate customers, now it's those corporate clients I'm thinking about satisfying. Different industries, but similar skill sets. So you need to look at where there is, that connection from where you're coming from, and know that there would always be some connection. It may not be a perfect connection, like the example I've just given to you about myself, right? If you're learning to become a Python developer and you used to be an accountant back in Nigeria, there's less, there would, I mean, when you get into it, you'll still find that there are transferable, skills, right? But there is less. So it is about you doing an introspection, and yeah, maybe speaking with other people would help you, with this introspection. But you need to have that self-awareness to look at yourself holistically, and again, it's also a testament to you understanding where you're going, what career path you're entering into. The understanding you have of it would help you to, connect the dots with where you're coming from. Thank you. You're on mute, Vanessa.
You're muted.
Sorry. Thank you for answering those questions. I know we have a lot of questions in the chat, but unfortunately we are running out of time. So feel free to connect with the speakers on LinkedIn. I'm sure they're gonna post their links in the chat box, so feel free to connect with them. Also, if you're not already a member of NIPCA, just visit our websites and you'll be able to join our organization. And we have a wonderful, welcoming community of, people, in different areas of tech that will be able to give you some guidance and mentorship on how to get a job in Canada in your field. And before we close off, Remy, if you're on the line, we usually take a group photo during every session. So Remy, if you could let me know if you're ready to take the screen grab or screenshot. So everybody, please turn on your cameras, please. We want to see your beautiful faces, so we can take this wonderful group picture. Remy, are you ready, Remy? You're on the line. I think you're on mute, Osita.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a great session. Remy, are you here? Okay, Remy is here. Guys, please, let's enable our cameras, okay?
Please do.
Let's see the handsome and beautiful faces. Let's enable our cameras.
Yes, and smile. We want to see your beautiful smiles.
All right. Almost there, right? More. We are still expecting Anita, Jane, Blessing. Please enable your camera if you can. That would be great.
Thank you, everybody.
Blessing is there. Okay, Blessing. Okay, great. Remy, are you having a good view? Guys, let's see the smiles now.
Everyone say cheese.
Yeah. Okay, great. I think we are good. So let me appreciate our speakers tonight. I mean, you guys have done fantastic. Starting with Caleb, Conrad, Tayo. We really appreciate you guys. When the invitation was extended to you and you honored that invitation, we appreciate you. For coming tonight to enrich our community with great insight and great information. When we talk about jobs, there are so many jobs out there, but yet we've got so many people looking for the jobs as well. So what you have done tonight is about insight, about giving our community, our members, insight on possibilities. We have a community, a very robust community, NIPCA, with thousands of members across Canada. NIPCA was established in 2018. And today, we are talking about hundreds of jobs in the community through mentorship, through support, and through several other initiatives. And one of the things that we've always talked about, the fact is this: if your name is Caleb in Nigeria, you cannot come to Canada and your name now turns from Caleb to Tayo. No, you are still Caleb. So if you're, that is like, the speaker spoke about imposter syndrome as well. And that is really the major problem we've seen in the community, Black community, even especially Nigerians as well. You are doing very well back home and you're here in Canada, all of a sudden, you now decided, you now felt that, hey, what is going on? So we've consistently tried as much as possible to, encourage our members, to really activate that coconut head. Some folks here will be familiar with the word coconut head. The resilience, because we are not here to count the bridges, or one of my friends will say we are not here to confirm the color of snow. We already know that color of snow is white before coming to this place, right? We are here to excel. That is it. Excel and nothing else. So I really appreciate the fact that they have been able to share this great insight. Now, one of the things I want to mention as well in terms of recruiters, agency, Tayo and Conrad. Trust me, since I came to Canada, I've always worked with recruiters. My first job was through an agency. Second job, the same thing as well. And guys, I really want to also encourage everyone here listening as well. It's good to apply to RBC, TD Bank, and every other company, but it's also great to identify some of these agencies and establish some form of relationship with some of their recruiters. Very important. Conrad and Tayo are here. They have shared their LinkedIn profile. Connect with them. They share jobs on LinkedIn from time to time. When they share those jobs, that helps. You'll be able to see the job, find a way to connect with these folks. My current job was through an agency recruiter with Robert Half. Robert Half. I literally connected with the guy on LinkedIn because the guy was hiring for the position and the role, the tech role I was looking for. And I had to connect with the guy. And whenever the guy shares stuff on LinkedIn, I will like, comment, gradually before I know what was happening, I sent the guy a message and the guy connected, sent my resume to him. That was it. He set up a 30 minutes call with me. 30 minutes. When we went through the whole thing, he looked at my profile, understood where I was coming from, understood what I was looking for. And the guy told me, let's keep in touch. That was what he told me. In my mind, I was like, I think I get to a position now. We're trying to keep in touch again now. But do you know what? This guy reached out to me 2 months after. Oh, Sita, there is this organization. They are looking for this. I believe that your profile fits into what they are looking for. Guys, 2 months after. Can you imagine that? And I was literally thinking, how did this guy, out of all the people reaching out, all the candidates in the database, still reached out to me? That is what networking and relationship building is very important. If a recruiter like Tayo or Conrad know you in person like that and you build a relationship, the person will already understand. There is a profile a company will send to them. They will instantly remember, oh, Elizabeth will fit into this role. They will straight away call you or they will reach out to you. Very, very important to build those networks. Trust me, when this guy reached out, do you know another thing he did? He sat down and he was able to tell me the pain point of the company, which I think one of you mentioned as well again. I think either Conrad or Tayo mentioned that. The pain point, what the company is experiencing. The hiring manager is looking for so-so candidates. These are the pain points. These are the challenges. This is exactly what the guy is trying to feel. Do you know that those information were really, really, really very vital for me in the interview? Because it's like giving me insider scoop now, right? He's telling me exactly what the problem is. Then what am I supposed to do? Is to pick those information and do my homework. right? If I'm going for that interview, I must be hitting it. I must be speaking based on those problems the recruiter have told me. And that was exactly what I did. Interview of 60 minutes turned 2 hours. After interview, I was asked, when do you want to resume? I was expected to say that HR will come back to you. I was literally told, when do you want to resume? And again, I've shared this story before, but I want to share to inspire us here, because that's what we do as a community. Another thing as well that somebody mentioned, I think Conrad or Taya, you guys really drop a lot of gems tonight. I can't even remember who mentioned that. In terms of salary negotiation, at the initial stage, Conrad, of course, the recruiter or Tayo have told you, hiring manager have told you, oh, this is the amount or the budget for this position. But sometimes they do have what? Some bandwidth, some buffer, right? They do. Because today I'm a hiring manager myself, and I know that I have buffer. When I'm hiring people, I have, some minus in terms of what I'm looking out for. Do you know that I was able to use that opportunity because I now knew the hiring manager wanted me into this role? It's a leadership role. I added additional 30K on top of what I told the recruiter before at the beginning. Do you know I got the job and I got the offer? Extra 30 from what I thought. So anything is possible. And what I tell folks is this: when you are going for an interview, focus on doing very well. Bring your A game. When you do well and the hiring manager loves you, the guys, this is who we want. Trust me, sometimes they will bend a little bit to make sure they have you in the team. So don't start at the initial stage to start talking about salary or start asking them how much you want to pay me. For me, when I mentor people, I tell folks, forget about salary. Focus on doing well. When you do well in the interview, trust me, they will find a way to have you on. I got extra 30K with a $10,000 sign-on bonus. I didn't even know that Canadians pay sign-on bonus, but I got it. Why? I have wowed the guy. The guy was literally telling me there were 3 candidates, but Osita, you are the right person for this job. We are not going to interview the 3 other. This is a Canadian telling me this. It was unbelievable. And guys, when I'm saying this, I'm saying it to inspire you because there are possibilities. Most of us, especially within our community, have transitioned. For some that are asking questions about what can I do in terms of transferable skills, that is why we've got a community. NIPCA is doing great. And by extension, we've got Black Tech, right? Black Tech has done incredible with a lot of programs, tech programs, and helping Black professionals to get the kind of jobs they want. Our students are killing it with 100K plus salaries, on average of 20 jobs every month in this community. Every month, on the average, we are recording 20 jobs. So what are we talking about? The jobs are there, but what organizations and hiring managers are looking for? They are looking for, they are looking for talent. They are looking for Black professionals. They are looking for professionals that have got depth, that have got understanding, that have got, just like Conrad said, you need to have depth. And the depth is understanding what the role is all about. Nobody throws money out just to recruit. There is a problem they are recruiting you to solve. You must identify that problem and be able to prepare. Not the one you have interviewed tomorrow, you are preparing today. No, you got to prepare days before and make sense of all these things. We talk about the STAR method of answering interview. Have you crafted that questions and stories based on your experience and kind of go over them so that when you are in interview and they ask you questions, you are able to communicate effortlessly. Those are the things you need to do to ace interviews. You don't prepare 24 hours to interviews. You got to prepare. There is no magic here, guys. These things are straightforward. I can tell you for free. We have seen it in this ecosystem. And gone are the days when you say you're a Black person and you don't have a community to support you. That is not true anymore. We've got NIPCA, we've got Black Tech, and so many other communities that are ready to support you. The question is, are you ready to put in the work? That is the truth. Let's please appreciate this, great minds, that have really shared with us tonight. On the chat, guys, please, let's us on the chat appreciate them. Caleb, Conrad, and Tayo. And please make sure you follow them on LinkedIn as well. I know they're going to be sharing a couple of, jobs from time to time. And whenever they share, of course, you'll be able to see what they have shared. And of course, they're also members of our community as well. And they do share jobs from time to time as well. So let's appreciate them on the chat, for spending this great time with us tonight, helping us with all these great insights.
Yes,
Oh.
yes. Thank you.
Thank
Everybody,
you.
please show your appreciation for our wonderful speakers in the chat. Like Osita said, feel free to connect with them on LinkedIn and ask your questions. Also, feel free to connect with me too on LinkedIn if you have any questions or need any help with anything. I am also willing to help. And yeah, thank you so much for also joining our session today. I hope this was insightful. I hope you learned a lot. And we just thank you for your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please feel free to join NIPCA, okay?
Yes.
The link has just been dropped on the chat. Feel free to join the community so that you network with other like-minded individuals, collaborate, and of course, see how we can all work together to inspire the Black community. That's the example of what we are doing to inspire one another, to make sure that we eventually become, very successful in this place. We haven't come here to confirm the color of snow. If there's anything you've got tonight, please just remember that. So we are here to excel. Conrad, you've got something to say.
Yes, just the last word. We spoke a lot about networking in this session, and please note that it starts with something as basic as your LinkedIn profile photo. So I've been getting a lot of connections on LinkedIn. I've been accepting all the invites that have been coming my way. But let me be very honest. If some of those connection requests had come earlier, if I had not known that there were people from this event, just by the quality of your profile photo, maybe I would not have connected. Because some profile photos just look a little bit like they could benefit from some work, right? So all of those little things do matter. Reaching out with no photo, reaching out with cartoon face, reaching out with the worst of your photo collection. Let us do better, because your presentation really does matter, and it starts from little things like that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Conrad, for mentioning that, and I really agree with you. Of course, sometimes you might just accept connection based on the name. As you're a Nigerian, you see a friend Nigerian reaching out, you might probably want to connect. But what about if it's not a Nigerian, and you're now connecting without a LinkedIn photo, or you're connecting with a profile that doesn't look the part? The person might not accept the connection. That is it, and that is really like everything we are talking about tonight. We are talking about possibilities. The jobs are there. Nobody can come and tell me that there's no job. There are jobs. Trust me. Jobs are there. Recruiters call me and say, hey, are you in the market? No, I'm not looking for a job. The jobs are there. The question is, are you putting in the work? Some people have reached out some point to say, hey, I've been applying for a job and I don't get a job. And simple question, it will be like, how many jobs do you apply for in a day? Oh, I apply for like 2 or 3. Sometimes, how can you be applying for 2 or 3 and you say you have been looking for a job? You got to be aggressive about it. Tayo said it here. Looking for a job is a job in itself. That is the truth. If you don't apply, then who is going to call you for an interview? You got to apply and make sure you tailor your resume to look the part. Very, very, very great point, that have been shared tonight, guys. We really want to see more Black people in tech. We want to see more Black folks. And that is the essence of this conversation. Okay? Thanks, everyone, for joining. The link. Let me also share Black Tech LinkedIn page. If you check the chat now, I've just shared that as well. Follow Black Tech as well. Great programs, great community, and let's see how we'll continue to work together to build the Black ecosystem and ensure that all of us get to the mountaintop. Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone. And
Thanks,
have a very good
everyone.
night.
Have a
Yeah.
great night, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you so much.